Wow. Hello, you guys. I should probably have cleaned off my screen before we started, but hello, everyone. Another episode of Untangled. We are on episode 51, believe it or not. Almost an entire year. There is a huge fly or bee. I think it's a fly. It sounds like a fly. Flies sound very different than bees in my cabin right now. But welcome. Welcome. It feels incredible to be here with you guys today. It is the summer solstice or the winter solstice, depending upon where you are in the world. There is always dark where there is light. There is always light where there is dark. Welcome to the paradox of this human experience. Welcome to the paradox of life, right? You cannot hide from the dark. You cannot hide from the light. It is simultaneously here at the exact same time. That's what makes this human journey so freaking profound and insane and like you're riding a roller coaster. So it's good to be here. I'm really happy. I can't remember why I wasn't here last week, but I wasn't here last week. I wish I could remember why. Jojo, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Before we get going and see what wants to move through us and whatever information wants to come to us, from us, within us, around us. I am doing a summer solstice event today, today at 5 p.m. California time. So today is June 21st, 5 p.m. California time. Powerful 90-minute summer solstice. There has been so much that has moved through me, or I don't know, alchemized or processed, or there's a very different version of Lori that's continuing to show up in this world, and that I feel very different right now in a very good way. And so this summer solstice is going to be it's going to be something new. Anyway, the link is in the description down below if you want to join. It's $11 and we give it away to people that can't afford it. So if you don't have $11, just email us. We hand it out for free. We want everyone to be able to join. So that's that. Hold on, I need to clean my glasses. I feel like I'm always cleaning my glasses. While I'm cleaning my glasses, say hello in the chat box. Where are you from? Feels really good to be connected with you guys all over the world right now. I think more than anything, for me personally, the connection with other humans, even if it's on a screen, just connecting with other humans right now is so profound. It's also so important. I was in my cabin yesterday, checking in on, like unpacking. And I saw this family next door in the cabin next door. And I was like, man, I really want to just go over there and hang out with them, like knock on the door and be like, hey, hi, like, can we hang out? And then I realized, like, that's really weird, Lori. Like, people would think you were nuts. But honestly, that's what I felt like doing. I sat and hung out with kids, random kids that I didn't know, playing with the dogs. And sorry, you guys, my glasses are not wanting to clean. And it's like I have OCD right now. But there's something about, don't isolate. If you're somebody that likes to isolate and likes to be alone, we're not designed to be alone. We're not designed. I mean, being alone is so important. Being in your cocooning is so important. Finding stillness and solitude and quiet is so important, especially if you are on a journey of healing, if you are on a journey of transformation, if you are on any sort of awakening path. My God, stillness and quiet and solitude is huge. However, many people, including myself, can get into this pattern where it is a crutch, where it's almost like it's a knee-jerk reaction where you're just always wanting to be alone. And humans heal other humans. Human interaction heals human pain. And right now, There is this profound, powerful, transformational process happening in your body and on the planet right now, um, which is simultaneously bringing up or erupting volcanoes of awareness that you can't ignore. Right. So things that you haven't wanted to look at most of your life, emotions that you haven't wanted to feel most of your life, things that you've tried to push down most of your life, behaviors and patterns that you've done that you just don't want to look at or deal with. And unfortunately or fortunately, and this is not only happening internally but externally. I know I keep talking about this, but it's because we are so deeply programmed that we cannot hear this enough. That's how deeply programmed we are. Programmed meaning we will almost unconsciously knee-jerk reaction go back to the old ways that feel comfortable, right? It's soothing. It's easier. And we came here on the planet to be in and to watch this massive evolution. We came here to change our perspectives, to change our lenses, to change the way we did things when we were initially born into the human experience. We came here to make change on the planet. We came here to make external change and to make internal change. And you can't do it by doing it the old ways, the same ways, the old versions of you. And you definitely can't do it if you don't feel. Because if you are not feeling through this process, you are going to perpetuate the systems that you are here to step out of. I can promise you that. And feeling is one of the most challenging, painful, and courageous things you could ever do in your entire human existence. It is underrated, undervalued, and tremendously scary. And yet that is the only way through a transformation is feeling. So even if you are, and so many of us are out in the world right now, out in the external world, making change with our voices and with our choices. And it's so important because that is how we break free from what we've been in. But if you are still imprisoned in your mind, you will constantly be running. It will be something else in the external world that you need to fix, something else in the external world that you need to change, something else that you need to focus on, something else that you need to bring awareness to for people or whatever that is, right? Um, and I promise you, you will be pummeled right back into your internal world over and over and over again. We forget, sometimes it brings tears to my eyes when I start to recognize um, the profound experience that we're in right now. That this physical transformation that we're making um, on a very microscopic level. So, for instance, you may be healing from cancer, right? You may be going through a divorce. You may be finally stepping out and doing your purpose work, right? And speaking your voice and like stretching yourself because you're putting videos out there. Or you may have finally said no more to your family members, or you finally quit your job, or you finally took that job that you really wanted to do, or you're having financial stress and anxiety and worry. Every single one of us on here right now, right, is having a microcosmic experience of some sort that is transforming them. It's inevitable. It's an absolute. We all are. If you are on the path of awakening, which means that you are conscious of what is occurring within you and around you, then you will continue to bring to yourself everything that's going to evolve you into new ways of being, new states of being. And this game that we're in is not about breaking free from the external systems. That's second. This game that we're in is about breaking free from the internal system, first and foremost, the mind. Because these systems out there are going to continue to control you if you believe that you need to break free from them in order to be free. So as soon as we realize that it's not about breaking free from external systems, it's about recognizing that in every single moment we are breaking free from the mind control, it's a whole other game. How are they, the systems that be out there, still controlling you through fear, through divide, through arguing, through stories? Pay attention to this, pay attention to that, pay attention to this, focus on this, focus on that. Anything that gets us out of recognizing that we are afraid to be with ourselves, they win. They being the systems that are constantly controlling you and creating in you the fear of you. And you are the most powerful creation. The you that is inside of that physical body, the you that has been suffocated, tormented, lied to, manipulated, coerced, told that you're not good enough, you can't do it, you've got to live in lack, right? You've got to be afraid. You've got to deny or ignore. That's mind control. That's the mind being controlled by programs, systems, thoughts. And any time that we are continuing to focus on the external world to change it so that we can feel free, they've got us. This does not mean that you don't make choices in the external world that feel good to you. There is an external freedom that is arising, right? We are realizing that. That's extremely important, right? But what is even more important beyond the illusion that the external world has control over you is that you are the only one in charge of you. That nobody can actually take your freedom from you if you are free in your mind. And how do you become free in your mind? You stop running from yourself. You stop running from emotion. You stop running from pain. You stop running from uncomfortable. You sit with yourself. And you don't sit with yourself in order to bring yourself into some sort of awareness or state. You just sit with yourself. You're so courageous. You're such a badass that you can just literally sit in stillness. That's the warrior, in my opinion. The one that is on the battlefield recognizes what battle we're in, right? So you're on the field and you have your armor, right? And you know that you have to go into battle, right? We know that we have systems that we have to step out of. We also know that we have to go through it. Right? You're standing on the battlefield and you know that you have your own internal war going on inside of you, fear, anxiety, worry, stress, holy shit, going into the future, all of these things. But the warrior on the battlefield knows who they are. They come back to themselves. They realize that the internal world is just noise and the external world is just noise. They realize that they are playing a role, a really crazy role on a battlefield, that many times they look around and say, I'd like to get out, please. Is there an exit button somewhere where I can eject myself out of this battlefield? And no matter how many times you look around, there's no eject button. There's nowhere to go. And so you realize that you have to keep going. And you look around and there are so many other people with you. And they're all going through their own internal battle, but they are going through the same external battle with you. We are all going through the same external physical world battle. We are all waking up. We are all starting to see the external battle we're in. But when you look around the battlefield and you're in some fear and anxiety and trying to figure out how you're going to, get through the next battle, and you look over to the left and there's a badass warrior that is not worried, isn't concerned, understands everything that's happening, is solid in their state of being, smiles at you because it knows that it survives this. It knows that it's here to do what it came here to do. And you can feel that energy from that warrior, from that badass human that just says, this is what it is. We've got this. And everything that is arising in that warrior, in that human, this individual just allows it. There is no such thing with this warrior of going back and doing the same. This warrior doesn't understand doing the same old patterns. Every moment is fresh and clean. Every moment is new. It doesn't look back. He or she doesn't look back into the past. There is this resonance, this energy that vibrates from this warrior, this man or woman that knows who he or she is, that knows that there is nothing to be afraid of, that there is massive, massive evil on this battlefield. And when you look at this warrior, their heart is so wide open for humanity and for all beings. It's just this compassion that you've never seen before. Almost like, how can you be so open when all of this horrific stuff is showing up on the battlefield? And the warrior says, what else am I going to do? Close off my heart? Fight with anger and rage? Or embrace it? Know that with every step that I take, I am choosing. Knowing that when I look around the battlefield, so too is every other human, conscious or unconscious. And eventually my prayer is that they become conscious and they open their hearts and they realize how profound and powerful they are in their sovereignty and in their body and in their beingness. And then the next thing you know, more and more humans, you start looking around the battlefield and more humans are resonating in this same vibrational state as this one badass warrior, which is you, which is what you are becoming. And then what you start to realize is that you just showing up in life is the purpose. You just being on the battlefield is the purpose, is the work. No matter what you are microscopically doing in your own world, meaning whether you're just a parent, right? Working at a local bank, retired, none of that matters. You're on a battlefield. Humanity needs you to keep your heart open. Humanity needs you to stop fighting and arguing and dividing. Humanity needs you to be so firm and grounded in who you are as an awareness, as a consciousness that chose to be in this body, that chose to be in this battlefield, that chose, you have to feel. You again, looking over at that warrior, that man or that woman standing there, and the courage they have because they know that nothing can take their peace. Nothing can take their freedom. If they die free. If they are captured free. If their loved ones pass, if horrible things happen, they hurt for that. They grieve for that. But there is a state of freedom that they have that most of us don't have yet. And when we are finally beginning to, which a lot of us are right now, but when we can be in that state of peace and freedom, energetically, vibrationally, while we continue to change the world by making different choices, using our voice, loving other humans, assisting humanity, sharing. That's when the world changes. It's a vibrational state. Anything other than that is perpetuating that which you are leading the battle into. And this is definitely not at all about rainbows and unicorns, at all. And staying positive. When you recognize who you are, when you start integrating deeper and deeper into who you are, you have to go through, you drop layers and layers and layers into all the things you think about yourself, all the fears you have around the world, right? There is no such thing as positive thinking your way through programming, mind control, trauma. Can't positive think your way through that shit. And if you've been trying to positive think your way through the mind control, they still have you. The programming, they still have you. In fact, they want you to have they want you to like love and light your way through the programming, because then you aren't able to actually stand in who you are, because you're bypassing. You have to go through the layers of the manipulation and the mind control. You have to go through the layers of trauma first. And as soon as you keep, as you keep doing that, as you keep standing in the fire of what is, you just show up for what is, right? Yeah, you remind yourself that you're not these things, right? You tell yourself you're going to get through it, whatever it is. But if you stand in it every single day, over and over and over again, you will find yourself dropped so deeply in the God essence that you are, that you don't have to think about love, light, and whatever, because it is your natural state of being. But you are simultaneously standing in the darkest shit you've ever seen in physical form. This idea that we have to solely stay focused on this, beautiful timeline of like, we all, whatever it is it's a blessing and a curse. I'm telling you, if you can't brutally, honestly stand in what's arising, if you can't see the absolute crazy shit that is happening on the planet and recognize that your number one role is to be able to see it all, to be able to feel it all. This is internally and externally. It's to be able to be in all of it, feel all of it, not need to change any of it, right? But you change the lens that you're using to see it. You vibrationally are shifting the way you see what you're in. Because no matter what, this is an evolution, which means this is a movement in energy. It's continuing to do this, and it's continuing to pull humanity through, out of and into new states of being, out of and into new ways of being, out of and into new systems, new ways of being on this planet, new ways of interacting with humans, new ways of living on the planet. This is all happening. It's natural. It's the natural process of evolution or energy. But if you are constantly saying, woe is me, this sucks, right? We're never going to get through this. It's not going to matter. You know, I should just give up. It's only getting worse. Um, then you're missing the point of what you're doing on the battlefield. If you're constantly saying, that's not happening, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm only going to focus on love and light. I'm only going to focus on the beauty. I'm only going to focus on that. Then that's not standing in the battlefield. What you have asked yourself to do in this lifetime is next level WTF. What you have asked yourself to do in this lifetime is to somehow figure out how you're going to drop back into the essence of God that you are, the powerful warrior that you are, that you are not the mind control, you're not the trauma, you're not the thoughts, you're not the emotions, you're not the behaviors, you're none of that, that you can stand in everything, feel everything, that you are free. Very difficult to do. All of you are starting to do it over and over and over again, but holy shit, are thoughts profoundly powerful. These systems are profoundly powerful. This is about standing in all of it. It's about being, dying over and over and over again in this human journey so that you can stand so firmly like this warrior in this battlefield, never, ever, ever running, not afraid of anything, nothing. You don't run from anything anymore. That is absolute true freedom. That's actual freedom. Everything else is an illusion. It's just layers until you actually start realizing true freedom, which is that you are capable and able to be in this human life no matter what you're going through. You're able to stand in this. You're able to breathe in this. You're able to walk in this. You're able to pay attention to your thoughts. You're able to express your emotions, which means that you get angry about what's happening in the world. Of course you do. You get angry around what's happening in your own internal world. And that you recognize that underneath that anger is actual sadness. Give yourself permission for that. Under the sadness is actual calm. Give yourself permission for that. And under calm is peace. So if you don't have the anger, you may never get to the peace. So give yourself anger. But then recognize what anger is asking of you, which is, can you drop deeper and just feel sadness? Absolute sadness for what the world may be going through, sadness for what you may be going through, or your family members or friends or animals are going through. Feel the sadness. Don't be afraid of sadness, because underneath sadness is calm. And sadness is confusion. Why? Drop beyond that sadness, and guess what you'll find? Promise you'll find this. If you sit in sadness and allow it to take over, you will drop into calm. You'll be calm because you gave yourself permission for the anger, and then you gave yourself permission for sadness. Then you found calm, and guess what is right underneath calm? Peace. And guess what walks side by side with peace? Freedom, internal freedom. And there are layers to this internal freedom that you're walking into. We have to be so firm in our commitment to who we are as absolute essences of God, whatever you want to call it, soul, spirit, source. It doesn't matter what you call it. You are not human. You're not a human. When your body stops working, awareness that you are goes somewhere else. What is that? That is you. That's the you that you are connecting back into and standing in the battlefield as. When your body stops working, when your heart stops, your organs stop. That's not you. What actually leaves the body? What is it? You tell me what leaves the body. That is the actual essence of you. That is your power. That is the you that you came here to embody, to integrate. Everything else is the ego taking over. And we don't get rid of the ego. We don't kill the ego. The ego is absolutely necessary in this human journey. But it is not the ego that gets you through that battlefield. When you turn and look at the warrior, it's not that you can feel the difference between somebody that's standing in the battlefield with you full of ego. They're going to pretend, they're going to ignore, they're going to deny. You're going to feel it. You're like, "Oh, you just don't feel you don't feel authentic to me." You're trying to get something, you're trying to present yourself a certain way. You turn and look at the actual integrated, embodied soul essence of a human, where the ego is still there, but they are fully integrated. They are calm. They are humble. They are aware. There is this essence of love coming out of their eyes. They feel you. There's an empathy. There's an understanding. When you stand in front of them, they see you, they hear you, they're listening. And then there is this strength and courage, because light consciousness is not afraid of anything because it knows that it's none of it. Consciousness stands in anything and says, well, this is going to be a fun ride. How are we going to get through this? It doesn't hold on to the anger or the rage. It doesn't make other people bad or wrong. It doesn't have to agree. It doesn't have to go along with. And it absolutely uses the tools that it has, the instruments that it has to express itself. So it uses its voice, it uses its hands, it uses its body to express its authenticity. Not to make sure people realize they're wrong or they're bad or that I'm better than them, but to simply just express their authentic beingness. That's what we're doing here on this planet as consciousnesses in the physical form. And whether you want to believe this or not, every single one of you are on the battlefield with me and with everybody else here and with everybody in all the other places on this planet. So what are you going through right now? Life may be so amazing for you, so aligned, so peaceful. And are you sharing that with others? Are you walking through the battlefield, looking to the right and left and inspiring others? Helping others in some tiny little way. So many humans are in a state of suffering right now that if you've got your shit together and you're good, pass that shit along to other soldiers. Smile, tell people they're going to be okay. Give them a hug. If you are struggling, if you're in it, reach out. There are so many humans on the battlefield that would love to just listen to you, that would love to support you, that would love to help you in some way. The next 6 months, next year, the next 2 years, 3 years, this is going to be a requirement. We are going to really be tested in our ability to stay in a feeling state and keep our hearts open and be as authentic and vulnerable and raw as possible. There is a powerful, profound energetic battle happening on the planet right now. You could sort of say, call it lower frequencies and higher frequencies playing out on a planet that encompasses 7 point something billion humans. As although the number's decreasing. And it's each human body that is choosing the frequency they're gonna follow. Which is, how do you want to be? How do you wanna be in this one human life, regardless of whether you believe in more lifetimes to come? Doesn't matter. Right here, right now is all that matters. How are you choosing to be in every moment right here, right now? I promise you, if you are in pain, if you are in grief, if you are in loss, if you are in anger, if you are in anxiety, if you are in stress, if you are in resistance, I promise you, it is the greatest gift and preparation that you could give yourself. If you are somebody that is constantly numbing out, constantly staying busy and just going from one project to the next project to the next project and just, I just don't really feel anything, I encourage you to step back for a moment. Because it's almost impossible to be standing on this battlefield right now, which is all energetic. Every moment of every day on this battlefield is energetic. You tell me how you're not feeling. We don't want to feel, and we don't think that we have anything, we're feeling anything because we're so afraid to actually feel. Because if you are somebody that's feeling a lot right now, it can feel as if you're going to die, perhaps, that you're not going to get out of it, that it is going to take you. What I'm here to tell you is the more that you can see that what you are in, as challenging and as difficult and as hard as it is to be in it, you are moving through something and you're feeling your way through it. It's the most courageous thing you could do as a human, is to be in the darkest pieces, the darkest recesses of your own being, to see it, to acknowledge it, to feel it, to realize that it's not you, that you're bringing this to your own awareness so that you can be free, so that you can assist humanity, so that you can assist your friends and family, so that you can assist those that don't have a voice, that can't help themselves, that can't do what it is that you're gifting yourself the ability to do. Children, animals, those that are enslaved, literally, in other countries. We forget the bigger picture. This is not about us. We forget that our greatest weapon, so to speak, is feeling. Why do you think from the moment you were born, we were not taught to feel? We were taught to think. We were taught to be in the mind. There were no classes in school. There was nothing that ever taught us how to just feel. That is our superpower. And I want to be real clear on this. There are many people, some of you here listening, that when you feel, you get into this state of woe is me. The feeling state is not, you're not anchored in it. You're in a flow state. So there's movement. Okay. If you are trying to Figure it out. Grab what you're feeling and really figure it out and wrestle with it. You are prolonging it just moving through you. And if you're somebody that doesn't feel, you're like, I don't really feel much. I don't really know how to feel. Like, I just don't think that I feel much. That's impossible. You're a human being. It's absolutely impossible to not feel. That just doesn't happen. So what I would encourage you to do, because I highly encourage everyone to really start exploring feeling. It's how you are going to become the most badass warrior on the battlefield. Everybody needs to be feeling more and more and more. It's our superpower. It's how they stop controlling us. They control us from fear. That's their biggest weapon, is fear. And if you're no longer afraid of feeling anything, they won't be able to manipulate you. You're not afraid of anything. It's that fucking simple. Excuse my language. So if you're not feeling, I would encourage you to start looking at how you spend your day. I would encourage you to start looking back at your life when you were a young child and how you felt growing up. I would encourage you to start looking at relationships, friendships, and partnerships that you've been in. And if you felt safe in those, if you felt like you could express yourself, I would look back at your life and pinpoint moments where you did feel a lot, what was happening during that time. I would encourage you to look at moments in your life where you were feeling so much that it was so uncomfortable that you were trying to get out of it. And what did you do to get out of it? I would encourage you to look at the stories that you tell yourself when you are feeling. This isn't good. This isn't right. There's something wrong with me. I need to get out of this. This is uncomfortable. We think that because things are uncomfortable and things don't feel good, that it's not right. And of course, you don't want to live your life that way, but that's the truth. That's the only way into freedom, is to recognize that no matter what you're in and how uncomfortable it can be and how badly you want out of it, that is the opportunity. That's the only way through this. And that's the hardest piece for humans to get. So many of you are doing it. So many of you have been burned and are continuing to burn and realizing, holy shit, I'm now learning how to stand in the fire and no longer feel burned. Wow. I mean, give yourself kudos. Do you remember those little kudo bars? Do you remember those nasty kudo? Oh my God, there's these bars, these like chocolate bar things that were supposed to be nutritious, and they're called kudos. Do you guys remember those? I used to eat those in like high school. I ate the shittiest shit in high school. Oh my God. Freak. Do you guys remember kudos? They were so good. Oh my God, kudos were so good. Oh, we ate so much crap and somehow make sense. I mean, granted, we are more poisoned than ever before in our water and in our air and in our food, but but the shit we ate, oh my God, the lifestyle we lived. I mean, we didn't put seatbelts on. People were smoking in the rooms all day long with us. Uh, we ate processed, greasy foods like Wonder Bread. Shit. I ate Wonder Bread like it was going out of style with bologna or oh my God, what was that nasty squeezed thing? Um, Come on, you guys. It was like liverwurst. Oh my God, did you guys have that nasty fucking glasses? Did you guys ever eat liverwurst? Do you remember it? It was like in a tube and like you kept it in the refrigerator. Um, what in the actual FUCK was that? Liverwurst. And I ate it on Wonder Bread with mustard. We've come a long way. Wonder if they still sell that stuff. We're badasses. That's all I can say. We're incredible. Anyone? Liverwurst? I ate so much of that. Oh my God, right? I love liverwurst. Damn it, my glasses are fogging up. Ugh, so annoying. It's like I can't clean them or something. Maybe that's a analogy? No, metaphor. We don't have to have the lenses super clean right now, you know? Man, the amount of OCD I have right now is out of this world. Wonder why they won't clean up. Sorry, you guys. I know it's probably super annoying for you. Anyway. Anyway, point being is we're badasses. I never had spam. We're badasses. We get through this, and yeah, it's intense, and but this is just a constant reminder over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, Cheese Whiz. I had Cheese Whiz. Yep. I had Cheese Whiz. That I had. We have to be really conscious, you guys. I mean, in my opinion, the world is just very, very different than it was. I got a new thing. I got to do this. I'm so annoyed. The world is very different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. In my opinion, we have to just be so conscious of what we're putting in our bodies. Um, the water, the food. But I also believe that what's even more important, in my opinion, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but in my opinion, what's even more important is that you feel. Because emotions, which is energy, is worse for your body if it stays stuck than food. Period. It is. Food is energy as well, but food processes differently. The body knows how to process the food. It knows how to get rid of the food. It has a system in there that regulates the food. Now, granted, yes, there's poisons, and yes, it can impact, but energy is 10 times more intense. It's 10 times more poisonous. And so if you think of, oh my God, 1,000 times better, it was the rag. Um, if you think about, you know, what's moving through your body all day long, instead of just thinking about what you're putting in your body with food, but instead, what is also wanting to move through your body? What emotions are you feeling? What thought forms are you grabbing onto? Right? Because thought is an energy, it's a food for thought, it's a food. Good morning, Anne from Colorado. How do you process fear? You don't really process fear. So you understand that fear. Here's how I deal with fear. I allow fear to be there. I don't process fear or try to get rid of fear. I I hold fear's hand. I allow fear to be there. And when you can allow fear to be there, then it no longer has the grip over you. So when we feel a lot of fear, we run from it. So fear of feeling something, fear of doing something, fear of being alone, fear of taking this next step, fear of whatever that is, right? The fear comes up. And it either can paralyze you, it can numb you out, it can make you go the opposite direction. It can make you really resist or grab something, right? And it's not about getting rid of fear. Fear is just it's on the battlefield with us. Some fears are very natural, the fear of driving super fast in your car, right? The fear of jumping off a cliff. the fear of going down a rapid. Like these are normal fears, and then there's irrational fears, which is what controls us, which is the mind control. Fear of feeling is irrational, meaning that it doesn't make sense. It's not a natural fear. You're not naturally designed to be afraid of feeling, right? Fear of doing something different. That's not natural. That's not a natural fear. That's a fear that controls you. And so, what we're here to do is to recognize that when these irrational fears arise, you recognize it, you let it walk you into the greatest gift that it's showing you. You embrace it. If you try to process fear or get rid of fear, right, then the fear still has you. We have to get so comfortable with fear that it doesn't stop us anymore. That's why it's so important to recognize that as soon as something arises that is so fear that you have so much fear around, that's where you are learning how to break free. Meaning that when you move through whatever it is that is creating the fear, you become more empowered. You become more free in your mind and free in your human beingness. Why? Because you realize that you can move through something that created so much fear. It has nothing to do with getting rid of the fear. It has everything to do with moving through what's creating the fear. It's like the buffalo. They see a storm. There may be fear of like, Jesus, I wonder how long the storm is going to last. But what the buffalo do is they run straight into the storm as fast as they can because they know they will come out of it. And when they do, they are even more courageous and strong. The next storm that comes, the fear is going to arise. They keep going. That's true freedom. True freedom is knowing that whatever storm comes, whatever bullshit they're throwing out at us, whatever choices people are making, whether they're aware of it or not, that you are continuing to move through life courageous, open-hearted, receptive, a badass. Does this make sense? You don't get rid of fear. You just let fear walk side by side with you, realizing it's the greatest teacher you'll ever have. And it's the greatest weapon that they use because they know that. The moment that you no longer let fear stop you is the moment that you break free and you change the entire world. And anybody that is still playing in old stories in their past, well, this is what I always do. This is what I'm always doing. This is who I am. This is how I do it. I don't know how to feel, or I don't this. Anyone that is standing in the past and continuing to bring the past into the now, there's a fear. You're still living in fear. And you're saying those old stories to yourself and those old patterns because you're afraid of just being in what's actually going to transform you, which is the thoughts and the feelings that just want to be felt that are holding you in those old patterns, those old ways. And so you just use the story of, oh, this is just who I am. This always happens to me. I'll never be able to, this is the same old, blah, blah, blah. That's just you numbed out in your mind, thinking about the energies, the emotions, and the thoughts that want to just move through you, which is asking you to just be aware of the emotions that you're feeling. I'm not lovable. I'm afraid to be loved. I'm afraid to be seen. I'm afraid to use my voice. These are the things you need to feel. These are the things you need to see. These are the things that you need to bring awareness to. This is what you need to stand in. And then you break out of all that nonsense, all of it. And then you're standing in this world, super chaotic, super intense world that's not getting quieter. And you're like, shit, I got this. Let's go. Let's do this. How about feeling fear from others? How do I know when fear is coming up if it's mine? Well, when it's somebody else's fear, it's going to come from their stories. It's obvious. You're listening to somebody speak, you weren't feeling fear before, and then all of a sudden you're listening to them speak, and now all of a sudden you're feeling fear. Be very aware of that. Be very discerning with that. Anything that causes you fear in the coming days, in the coming months, in the coming years, anything that causes you fear, that makes you afraid, pay acute attention to, because fear is control. So there's a difference between being afraid of the world, feeling the fear of the world, and being in anger and sadness and like jaw dropping because of what's happening in the world. But if you're listening to people that are creating fear, holy shit, what are we going to do? Oh my God. That is putting you in a disempowered state. Okay? Where you are going to numb out whether you realize it or not. You're going to start moving into a future whether you realize it or not. And you're going to walk through the next days and months or whatever more disempowered. Fear and knowledge are different. Knowledge is knowledge. Information is information. Recognizing what's going on in the world, being aware of what's happening on the planet, all of that is information. That's different than fear. Very different. So in gaining information and gaining knowledge and awareness, that's powerful. That puts you in an empowered state. Being afraid, very different. Being afraid pulls you out of your body, pulls you out of your power, pulls you out of your courage, pulls you out of you. You start looking at the external world to figure it out, to save you, to help you. Everybody else has the answers but me. I need to keep looking for what's going on so people can tell me, so people can help me, so people can save me. That's what fear does. That's the whole purpose of fear, is to pull you out of your actual most empowered state, which is that you are so solid and so good and so strong and so courageous, and you just being in and with you right here, right now, with whatever's arising. And that there is nothing to be afraid of, because the moment you feel afraid of anything, it is pulling you out of empowerment. It's saying you can't be in this. You need to now be in something in the future, or you need to be in something that is no longer safe. No, 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 no. So if somebody's in your life and they're in constant fear, and you find yourself being pulled into that fear, just be aware of that. You're being pulled into a disempowered state, and have compassion and empathy for all the humans that are in that state. There's nothing wrong with that state of being. Humans have to see that they are in a huge amount of fear, and they are reacting and responding from fear in order to step out of it. You're not better than or less than because you may be able to be aware of the fear. You're not a better person. You're not more enlightened or more awakened because of that. That's what the warrior standing next to you understands. They have compassion for what the human is going through. They have compassion for the amount of fear that humans feel. They understand it, they see it, they get it, and they lovingly, embracingly, openly hold that human through their fear. That's your role. Not to tell a human that they need to not be in fear and that this is what's happening, this is what's happening, they need to do this, and they need to do that. No, no, no. No. We're all learning how to do this. We're all figuring this out. No one's better than anybody else. No one's more enlightened. We're all God consciousness in physical form, just trying to remember that awareness, doing it the best that we can. And there is no right way. There's only your way. But you are not doing this alone. We are not doing this alone. There are billions of us currently right here, right now, on this battlefield, trying to remember that we are God in consciousness as energy in physical form, going through a massive evolutionary, energetic, and physical shift in consciousness. And there's nowhere to go. And it's why you're here. And it's all about feeling. And it's all about being with other humans. It's all about having fun, finding joy, finding the little things in life that light you up, being in awe of the little things in life and letting that take you. Nothing wrong with you. You're becoming the master that you have always been. You are becoming the warrior that you have always been. You've just been programmed to be otherwise. Be gentle with yourself. I will see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. for our next Untangled, episode 52. Please pass this video along if it resonates with you and there are others in your life that need to hear it. Please subscribe to my channel. The algorithm has completely stopped my channel from being seen. So if you can like this video or subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. It would help me. Get the message out and help awaken humanity. But pass this on. I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me on the planet. Thank you for incarnating at this time. Thank you for keeping your heart open. Thank you for being in your body. Thank you for feeling everything. Thank you for bringing awareness to your thoughts. Just thank you. If you want to join the summer solstice, June 21st, which is today, 5 p.m. California time, link is down below. See you next week. Be gentle with yourself and go do something kind for someone else. Mwah.